Alright everyone, Lord Commander Guts here. Gonna do some more tutorial stuff. I did forget to leave a little bit of information on procedural generation. I did post some videos on it. Now it does work, and if you use it for background, it will actually look pretty good for your background. However, if you place these procedural generation boxes in your level and you try to walk in them, it will break your animations and your character. So I'd recommend them for background. And honestly, if you're going to use background, you're going to be using very low poly meshes for trees anyway. So I'd almost even just say don't do it. What you can do though is here. Let me show you real quick. I'm going to be loading up a map here, and let's see what's a good map. Let's do Night Raid. Haven't seen that one in a while. And we're going to show you how to set up your foliage here, so that way it culls, and that way it saves on performance. Now you can have it set where it's semi procedurally generated. All you really do is just change your brush size. Here, I'll show you in a second as soon as the map loads in, but you can't quite procedurally generate in the box that I've been using. It breaks the game. And I tried it in Thermopylae, and a lot of people complained that you couldn't attack in the beginning, the spawn. So I took it out and it fixed it. So it is the boxes, so you can't have those procedural boxes. And I'll show you here in a second what I mean. Almost loaded, 75, and then we gotta wait for the navigation to load, and that's fine. Here comes the nav. Okay, so let's just get out of this cave area. Okay, so all of these are placed in semi. I didn't manually put every single one in. What I did is you go to foliage and you can actually put it here. Now these are all, you'll notice that this is a static mesh, the teal color are static meshes, and this is actually a foliage type. How to do that, let me show you real quick. So I originally did have procedural generation on this map, and I took it out because it broke. Monopoly on this one. So this is a perfect map to test on. So what I do here is I take the meshes, save them in my shared assets, and once you make the meshes here, you place them here, you want to make one of these foliage types out of them. So what you can do here is you take a new one. Let's see. Here you're going to make, where's miscellaneous? Right here. And then you're going to go all the way to, where is it? Foliage type. Then you're going to click that. Boom. It's going to be empty. Foliage. Oh, spaces, sorry. Just foliage. I already have all the things I need. So, we're going to put in this one. I already have it. But it's just going to show you real quick. Now it's applied. Now, if you make changes here, it'll apply in the game. That way you're not modifying the static mesh. This will do all the changes you need. And all you really need to change is the coal distance right here. And it's the max. Don't worry about the minimum, just the max. So, generally speaking, you'll go around 10,000 or less. My maps actually go to 30. Well, depending on what you're looking at. So for the rocks, I made these a foliage type. As you can see, it is right here. So, yeah, do that real quick. So let's take a look real quick. Select this right here, and you can see it doesn't really matter if you click here or on this foliage tab here, but it's the same thing. Let's look at the coal distance. So I have it set to 20,000 units, and that's because as soon as you zoom out, all the forest goes away, but the rocks stay put until you reach a certain distance. Now I wanted to hurt on performance. Now you can kind of see that the rocks are on the bottom, starting to form. And I left the tops. Yeah, see, so the bottom rocks here are cold. The top ones are persistent, so you will always see them across the map. As you can see, they poke out, so you'll never be high enough to see the bottom anyway. That's why I turned those ones into cold rocks here, into foliage type. And it works. It definitely helps on performance, and especially like down here in the cave, if you're not looking at it directly, like from here is about, I'll say, 15,000 units at least that you can see throughout here, and the bottom ones can be procedurally, not procedurally, sorry, can be cold. That way you're helping on performance overall, and I think it looks pretty good overall. I mean, yeah, you can't see far away, but you'll never be this high unless you're spectating. You'll always be down here, so you won't notice a lot of this stuff, and this is kind of how you can, make your way into it and have a lot of forestry, and at the same time you'll have performance being saved by pulling. So like right here is like or you'll see, so you won't even notice a lot of the cold stuff. Now, it won't be until you get to higher ground. I do have some higher ground here in Night Raid, right here in the motor. You can kind of see over there, there's like nothing over there, but you can see that for the most part, this is the range here, right up to the riverbed, the dried up riverbed here, and then right up here to where the dry lands are next to the blacksmith area. So you can see that, yeah, you'll still save on performance just by doing that. You can set it however you like. This is actually really great on performance. Something I figured out the hard way, but I ended up using it, and it's changed everything. Performance is so much better. The first iteration of this map was terrible, and I'll say up until a few versions ago, but now we're at a newer version. I think we're at the 3s. Are we in the 3s? We are in the 2.3s. That's fine. Yeah, anything before 2.0 was really hurting for performance. But now it's so much better, cleaner. And I still plan on adding like a small abandoned town here. Now I do have the blacksmith. That was kind of just the first part of it. I was going to add some more buildings. I do have a few other buildings here, and there's some props in there, mostly just torches and chests. But I do plan on adding more props, more houses. That way we can kind of see that it was a town at one point that just was abandoned. A few people might stay on the outskirts, and you can use this as a camping area. I do want to put like a small little picket fence around some areas, but that's about it. And then you still have the main areas that you can block off, whether it's Dawn's Pass or if it's Hill Fort. Eventually, I am going to add to this, not too much, just to kind of put a ground here and a tunnel is what I would want to put, like underground tunnel. And originally I wanted to connect a tunnel that goes up here, and you can take a lift to the cave, and then you just take the elevator down. That's old school lift. That way you're not traversing throughout the map. This is meant to be a horse map, by the way, and I do have horse purchasables in this map. I won't be able to show you how to make those because I actually didn't make it, but I can show you how to import. Import is huge in this. Real quick, importing stuff. If you ever want to move stuff, use this tab here. Already in the map that I want, and if I want to move this to anything, I'll grab it, and make sure I'm taking the roots too. So if I'm taking the bark here for this tree, I'll take that as well, and then I take the tree foliage. Bam, just like that. Okay, sorry about that. And then from there, grab and drag, and then you're going to move it over to the shared assets to whatever folder you want, and you can move it there. What I could do, honestly, is I'd copy this folder. Let's do that real quick. Copy, paste, and it should just paste everything here. And now you can take all of this and then move it to Pyramid Arena. Move. Copying here doesn't fix all the references, which means I'm going to have to replug all of this in, whereas if I just move it, it auto connects everything, and it saves a lot of time. And then you can make a folder here. Let's make a folder. Foliage. Take the bush, take the texture. Nope, don't need that. Don't need that. Trees, tree bark, trees, rocks, bark. And is that it? There you go. And we'll move you to foliage. Move. And essentially you're doing that with everything. If you do want to customize Mordhau asset, you do somewhat the same. You do have to plug it in though. And I'll show you how to do that right now. Let's go back to Night Raid. Okay, so one thing to take into account is the textures have to be in. And as you can see, the doors are right here. These are the textures for the door. Let's go to the door. Here's the door. Awesome. And this is what it's going to look like in game. Now, if you don't have it plugged in, it's going to look like a checkerboard, or it may not even be visible, and you'll just see it as like it's not there. So let's move back to this. All right, sweet. How to plug this in? So you take the mesh that you're using. It is right there. So this I got from, I forgot where in the contents, but you can take it here. Let's look at SM Castle. And then what you're going to do is go to content, or actually just go to Mordhau. And there it is, right there. So what you do is you click and drag it. to your map, assets, and then you move. I already have it there, so I'm not going to do that. And then what you do is you, once you have that, you get the textures. You locate that from there, and then you do the same thing. Click and drag, and then you open this up, and then you'll click on these, and it'll these, and you'll see all your textures packs that you need. And make sure to grab all of them. They're all labeled, so you should be fine. There. Now, obviously, I have it already plugged in, but it would plug into the Mordhau folder, and you'd grab that and you move it over just like this. So I have all three already moved. And then from there, what you could do is make another. Let's close that. I don't need to change. Make a new folder, and let's just call this Castle. Oops, if I can spell. Castlegate. And then it's already plugged in. Dragging it and moving it will not affect it. In fact, it'll automatically fix everything. Copying it does kind of break things. But in the first initial point, you will have to just copy paste it. You cannot remove Mordhau files. It won't work. It will break it. So just copy it. And then once you copied it in here, you're going to plug it in. Now here's how to plug it in. First, we start with the mesh. Or sorry, the mesh. The materials. Mesh is last. Here's the material. Now it's going to show like this in this image right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to find each and every file, plug it in, find this. I forgot to move that. Move. Awesome. So it's already plugged in, and it will find it. You'll see if I click here, scroll here, bam, it's already directing to where it's supposed to be plugged in. So that works. And once you plug this in, then you can place this on the map, and it'll probably look checkerboard like I did earlier. I'll turn that so you can see it. Turn the lights off. There you go. And it's probably going to have world material on this. So then from there, you take the material that you just put together here with these textures, and you put it on there. Bam. And like that, you'll see the texture, and you'll have the static mesh, and the textures will be applied appropriately, and they're saved in the right spot, so that way it can modify. And then you can, like I did, I scaled it up. Oops. Let's click. There we go. And you can scale however you want. And that's pretty much how you save. That's one thing I wanted to go over, because I did forget about that in my first tutorial, so now it's here in the second. And let's see, what else am I missing? That's right, sublevels. Let's do subleveling. Let's go back and make a new map. I'm actually not going to save this because it's fine as is. Oh, wait. Before I go, foliage. I almost forgot about foliage. Now, I did talk a little bit on how to place it, but I didn't actually show you. So now that we have the foliage types and we have all this, you can actually click it, unclick all these here, and you got the rocks. So now I want to place it. Make sure I'm clicking on paint, and there's one rock right there. Bam. You can just place it like this. And this is somewhat procedural. If you make it the brush size bigger, it looks a lot more procedural. And you can change the density to 0.01. That's kind of like the minimum that you want. The maximum is probably like 0.04, because as soon as you get more than like 0.04, it starts to really just look like a mess. Yeah, see, it's already looking like a mess. So yeah, 0.01 is where you want it. And then just kind of place it, make the brush bigger. And then here, the filter is where you can place it. So you can place it on other meshes as well. So I want to put, yeah, you can see that on the tops of it, you'll see the rocks. But I don't want to do that. I'm going to undo all of that. That's how you place it. It works with everything. And if you want to undo it, what you can do, aside from Control Z here, is click here where it says the lasso effect. And you can select all of that same foliage type, because the rest are unselected. It's just this. And then you can grab them and then press delete. You can catch them. Or if you don't want to delete them, you just want to move them, click select, and you'll have to manually click it. And then you can move it however you want, and it will stay there. And then all the attributes and the values that are applied to it will apply to this one. So it will actually cull off as well. You can't see because it's actually a very small object. But it does cull after a certain distance. The distance is 2,000. Sorry, 20,000. Big math. All right. And that's pretty much how you place it. I mean, you can place the static meshes, but at least this way it gives you a little bit more room to tinker around with the static mesh without actually altering the mesh itself. Let's look real quick. Yeah, you can change all these attributes here. You can change heights, the slope angle. I mean, there's so much you can change for when you're placing it down, and this will help in placing in. That way you're not getting all the same objects, all horizontally the same, just vertically different. Or rather, sorry, I got that backwards. Vertically the same, just horizontally different. So that way you can have different types of rocks in different shapes and sizes, and you can set it all in the foliage type rather than the static mesh. Static mesh, you don't really change much. You don't want to do that. And here you can see right here, you can the age, the overlap, the spread. You can deal with all that here. Perfect, right? And I have no collisions on my procedural stuff, so I mean, if you want to add it on, make sure you have it block all. That way you have collisions on it. I'm not going to save this. Start a new map. Just default. Don't save. Alright, now sub-leveling. I'll call this... Actually, I think I do have a test map. Let's open that real quick. Real quick. Don't save. Maybe it's this one? Don't save. Well, it's fine. We'll leave it as this. Kind of see this. So let's get going on sub-leveling. So this is test map, and this is, well, test map 2, and this is test map. Now I did in the first video say that if you want your level to be separated into 2 words, make sure that you have camel caps here, camel casing. So the first letter tester and the first letter of the next word map. So then it will split into 2 words, and that's what you'll be typing in for your change map. And then here we can add more levels. Just write horde tester map. You don't really need the tester map 2. And then we'll do invasion tester map. I gotta fix that because otherwise it will break. F2 to change. Oops, wrong key. Enter. All right. So now that you have this, this is gonna be your main map. Don't save. Jesus. Don't save. So from here, this is going to be your base map. Nothing's going to change in this. This will be your core map that you're playing with, your outline. In these, you're pretty much just placing the objectives and spawns. So say you want to open this. God, I hate that. And you can make all alterations in this, or what you do is you open this up. Don't save, sorry. That's just going to keep popping up because I made some changes, and Unreal really wants me to deal with it. So the best way to deal with it is just to close out and reopen it, but I'm not going to do that for this tutorial. So now we're in tester map. It's going to be black. That's perfect. That's fine. Now what you do, make sure you have levels open. You can open that if you go to Window and go to Levels, and then it should open up. Persistent level will always refer to the map that you've opened, and this is the level here. And so what you can do is take the base map, click and drag, move it to Levels, and then right underneath persistent level, let go, and then you'll see the map. This is the map. So make sure you're always clicked on persistent level. That way all the changes will be on persistent level and not the map. Now, if you want to change the map layout, it will apply to everything that's linking to it. So it'll affect these 2. So make sure, and I'll open this up too. Make sure that you are opening this as well and moving this to levels. So now I have it set. I didn't save it, but if you did save, it would actually apply to both of these. So if I open up this, anything I see in here in the map that's in this, I can also see in this map as well. If I open this up and anything that's on this, since I have it open here, make sure it's on persistent level, and then that will only refer to this level, because as soon as you make changes to this, it'll apply to this one as well. So make changes in here if you want to add difference. Like for instance, horde mode, you have purchasables, and you don't want those in invasion. So what you do is you add all the changes here for purchasables. Yeah, that's fine. We'll leave it unsaved. I gotta redo that. Oops, wrong one. Deleted the invasion map. You're gonna get the picture here. So now if you make changes here, make sure you're loading in the persistent level, and then you make the changes. And then after that, once you're done with all the changes, say you put a table and some purchasables, what you do then is you click on the bottom. This is the map level, and make sure that you're streaming it correctly. Now it's going to be on Blueprint, but you want it always loaded. So that way when you load this map, it will actually load this as well rather than as a blueprint. That way you're not just falling through the sky in Mordhau. And then you should work. Perfect. Now, the only difference is you got to make sure you memorize the name. Horde, it deleted invasion because I forgot to save that portion, but that's fine. and that's how you sub-level to have different maps in one pack. So you'll, when you cook it, make sure you have this selected and the invasion version selected. This one doesn't matter. I was just testing with it, messing around. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you want to make any changes to game mode, make sure that they're in your shared assets. This one doesn't have one, but I have a shared asset. Shared assets. Test map. Test map shared assets. And then you move all these in there. And these can stay out here. This is fine. And then you cook it. Make sure you go to File, Save All. Go to Edit, Project Settings. Go to your cooking options. Now I have the cave selected, but this is perfect. So you see that I have two versions of this selected, and if you have a third, you add it in, and you'll see that it'll be Invasion the Cave or Skirmish the Cave, and then you click X there, File, save again, and you cook. And that would be that. But make sure, yeah, you're cooking the right files. You always have to change that. And that's pretty much it for the second portion of this tutorial. I just wanted to make it real brief and post it on YouTube so you guys can have access to it. Please let me know if there's anything more you want to learn on Mordhau. I'm actually going to be taking a hiatus from Mordhau modding until the SDK actually launches. So if you guys have any questions, please send it your way to the Mordhau modding Discord community. Those guys are really great. They'll help you with anything. But I am going to be taking a break from Mordhau modding, and I'll be back once it's out. I'm guessing probably sometime in the summer it'll be out. That's speculation, so we'll see when it happens. All right, well, this has been a fun video. Lord Commander Guts, out.